Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Only Land Fan Show. My name is Kendall Lejeune, and our guests today are Mary and Ann Danielson. The Sisters is how they're known in the land space, and their straight-shooting, fun-loving approach to land investing is all about going big by staying small. The Danielson Sisters have nested their business in Tennessee, where they're happiest operating large rural subdivisions with a quality crew and closing deals on a pontoon. The only all-female team in their market, they have chosen to ignore the noise to create an authentic and original brand that's as Wild West as they are. Today, joining us from Denver, Colorado and Manila, Philippines are Mary and Ann Danielson. Thanks so much for joining us. How are you today?
Great. Thanks for having us.
So good. We're really excited you invited us back.
Yeah, you know what? Once we announced that you were going to be coming back, I got so many people that responded and wrote in and talking about how excited they are. So I know that a lot of people are looking forward to what you have to say. It's been a bit since we last talked on the show. So catch us up. What's been going on with you guys?
Oddly enough, Mary and I have actually shrunk our team. We had a giant team of 2 VAs, and now we're at 0. So we're back to just the 2 of us. But really, that's not entirely true because we're so close to everyone who's helping us in Tennessee. And so we do have a team, and our team is really awesome. Brokers and bird dogs and the usual brush hoggers and surveyors, and we love our title lady, all of that. But really, it's just the 2 of us that are running Land Fam. And yeah, our deals have gotten a bit bigger, but our team has gotten a little smaller.
I love that. And so what sort of brought that about, this change in the team size?
We ended up getting a lot of inbound leads. People reached out to us with deals or to partner, or an awesome broker brought us an on-market deal that had fallen through from the original buyer. And so we had our hands full, and we wanted to stop outbound marketing until we could just see how all of this pans out. And so we can always call back. We love our VA, and we're taking very good care of him, even while he's enjoying his life on the beach. But we were really only using our VAs for map scrubbing. And now that we aren't looking for any more maps and we have all of our data, and they've done such a great job of hitting Tennessee for us, we're able to just stick to the team that we have built with the locals and do some big deals.
Yeah, that's great. Ever evolving. I love that. That's also my approach. You got to roll with the punches, roll with the time, right? So for those that are listening that may not have maybe caught your first episode, I talked a little bit about what you do and how you do it in your bio, but give us a little bit of a background about what your business model looks like and what you focus on and how you came to be where you are today.
Sure. On my end, so I'm the older sister. That's why I always go first. And I'm in Manila, Philippines. And during the pandemic, I have full-time W-2, and I still actually have it now. I'm an international teacher, and I found myself with some extra time, and I already liked real estate. And as soon as I found out about land, I just wanted to learn everything that I could. And then as soon as I was pretty confident that I wanted to go for it, I knew that it would be a good partnership with Mary. And we've never done anything in the past, but that's when I called her and said, hey, do you want to try land? And then that is what, at the same time that she had just uprooted her whole family and moved to Colorado.
Wow. Where did you move from to Colorado?
Madison, Wisconsin. Yep.
Oh, I hear it. I hear it. I hear the Wisconsin. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, so I was in Madison, and my husband's job was here. And so I had done in-home daycare for 10 years. And then we moved here, and I wasn't going to start that again, but for any reason. And so when she reached out to me, I was totally open to pretty much anything, just finding a new way to go. So I'm super excited and thankful for the opportunity and love it. Now we're like total land nerds.
Love it. You're all in. So good. So how long have you had the business?
4 years. Or like 3.5.
Yeah. Going on 4 years. Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent. Very good. And how do you divide up the roles? Who does what?
I obviously am on the other side of the world, so synchronous tasks aren't really a good fit for me. So I do everything that is data, everything that's computer or running comps or looking at new markets, responding to emails, keeping up on our like social media stuff, which is actually that's new for us too, that we didn't really put ourselves out there as much before. So everything that's online and asynchronous is my lane, and I try to stick to it as best I can.
Yeah. And
That's
then I pretty much take care of calling sellers or dealing with the realtors, brush hog survey, county, anything with the county. Basically, a lot of follow-up calls and making sure that everybody's where they're supposed to be, paying the bills, dealing with taxes a
the
little
fun
bit.
stuff.
Yeah. So, yep. And I really like to talk to people.
Yeah. Calling all ambitious land flippers, ready to transform your business with proven systems and processes? Imagine this. One of my students recently closed 2 land deals and got another under contract in just 24 hours. That's the power of a well-oiled land flipping machine. My exclusive coaching program is specifically designed for action takers just like you. We'll build out your entire operation from lead gen to dispo, implementing these systems on real deals from day one. But hurry, I'm only accepting 3 new students until 2025. If you've done deals, have a growth mindset, and are ready to scale, visit kindlecall.com now. Let's turn your land business into a consistent profit powerhouse. Yeah. So has it always been that division of responsibilities, or did it evolve over time? What did that look like?
No, from the get-go, I think it was really clear. It is our geographical location, but it's also our personalities and our skill set. And so I really like to study and I really like to research, and I don't really enjoy talking to people. And so it was a natural fit from the beginning, and we definitely are we don't plan on changing that anytime soon.
I love
Pretty
it.
much the Cliff Notes.
That's true.
I get the Cliff Notes and I follow up with people. Yep. It's
Yeah, I
great.
love it. Stick to your zone of genius. I'm all about that for sure. So tell us a little bit more about what types of deals you're specializing in. Your bio mentioned subdivides. So is it purely subdivides, and how many deals do you guys do on average in a year?
I would say right now it's almost entirely subdivides, aside from like a couple of dingleberry little flips that are sitting around. But aside from that, yeah, I think everything is a subdivide that we're pursuing or that we're in the middle of. Currently, we have 4 projects going. One of them is nearly wrapping, actually could probably even be this week, which would be awesome. And then the other 3 they're at the beginning. 2 of them just got listed in the last week or so. So you might see, if you're on Facebook, we've been firing them away. And then one of them won't list until January, because we do have to we're still going through the county approvals on that one. So right now we have 4 projects going. It's hard for us to do averages because we might have mentioned we don't track our KPIs, even the number of deals. I don't even know how many we've done. But yeah, we do typically like to have a couple, I would say, big projects going at a time.
Excellent. And what's your definition of big?
Yeah, that's a good question, because you know what? We're probably not big compared to a lot of people out there. Let's see, our biggest deal right now is 121 acres. And we are hoping that we are going to be able to split it into 15 tracks with a variety of sizes. And we are working with a partner on that deal. They came forward and said that they'd been watching us and they liked our way of doing business, just seemed like a good fit, and they're nice Midwestern folks. So when we met, we said, okay, fine, then our hands are full with some other things. So if you guys can do some of the operating, then we can be 50-50 partners. And this is the first time that we've done that. Yeah, I guess I don't know if that's big or not, but for us, that's the deal size that we like. That one is a buy for 600, and we're hoping to exit between 1.7 and 1.9.
Excellent. That's fantastic. And,
Yeah.
and so far, how have you enjoyed working with a 50-50 partner like that?
We couldn't have found a better match. We don't disagree on much
Yeah.
or anything, I don't think yet. For me, it's a little different because they're doing what I used to do, which is dealing with the county, but we're stepping into some new areas too. I'm just watching and following along and then chiming in whenever I feel like I can offer some advice, because it's in Tennessee and they've been all over. And
Mm.
I'll just be like, no, we're calling this guy. And they're like, okay, great. I'll offer advice where I can. And then I'm trying to, again, now I'm trying to stay in my lane so that they can do what they want to do and what they want to learn. And then they're teaching us too. So that part of it is fantastic.
Yeah, that's great. So you said we couldn't have found a better match, but it sounds like they found you, right? Did
Right.
they come to
Yep,
you?
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
did.
they actually, he might be in this call. I won't call him out because he might not want to turn on his video because he's probably wearing a hockey hoodie and he's probably grilling in his garage right now. He is in the call. But they called us and said, the way you ladies roll. And then on that day was the same day that I was planning to show them a different subdivide that we were looking at. And then we got a bird dog deal that was brand new on that same day. And I said, should we just open this one together? And so we did. And then it took a lot to get it over the finish line. It was not that clean, I wouldn't say. No deals are, but it took us a long time to get over the finish line. And so I think that's also when we realized that it was a good fit because we were all pretty lighthearted about it. And we were all ready to lose the deal and we were all ready to jump in. And yeah, it's been a nice fit.
That's great. So it sounds like you had a little trial test period, like test deal before you guys got this $1 million plus deal. Is that right?
No, this is the first one.
Oh, this is the first one that you guys are
Yeah,
working
yeah.
on together.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we
Okay.
let the other when we set up the Zoom call to meet, we were going to review another deal and we did. And so I said, okay, this is one we're looking at. It's lukewarm. We're not that excited about it, but yeah, sure, let's bring on a partner because maybe you see something that we don't, or we can just spread out the risk. And then we like opened the package of the other deal that from this bird dog lady.
Got it.
And then that's when we said, okay, let's just go for this one instead. And yeah, it's a big first date for us, but it's going well.
Yeah, that's exciting. I love that. I love that. $1 million plus first date. So let's
Yeah.
talk a little bit about if someone's listening to this and they're like, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to do subdivides and I wanted to do big deals. And they see dollar signs when they hear you talk about this 1.6, $1.7 million deal. But they might feel like, oh, but I don't have a team. I don't have a VA. I don't have a, what would your response be to that sort of concern?
I think the cool thing is that when you do big projects, you need less of a team for us, because we think in our mind, you use a team when you're on the hunt, right? So you're hunting for properties, you're hunting for leads, you're doing outbound marketing, you're tracking down sellers, you're following up with sellers. And so all of that is what you don't have to do when you sink your teeth into a larger project. And so for us, I think that's why we say we like big land and we cannot lie. Like that, we really do think that we're able to stay small because we invest in big projects that keep us busy for a while and they don't really take that much more work.
That's really interesting. I love that because I always say there's so many different ways that you can build a land business. What works for someone doesn't have to be the model for someone else. And so it's really cool to hear you guys talk about this structure. So let's dive in a little bit more to what does your operation look like? What's your day to day? If someone's like, how do you make millions of dollars a year doing land with two people? What does it look like? What do you do on the daily?
I
Currently,
mean,
the day is very boring.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
no, land is boring. What?
We aren't spending a lot of time right now on land because the projects that we're in right now are rolling. So we
Right.
are like keeping our eyes peeled for other things or reviewing things for what's to come. But I'll reverse it back in time when we were working harder and longer hours. So previously we were doing outbound marketing and we did mail only. Last year, I know this number is going to make people laugh, but last year we mailed 18,000, I think, pieces of mail for the entire year. And that was our biggest mailing year. So I did do some data work and a lot of map scrubbing. So that's why our numbers were really small, because from the beginning, we've always tailored our mail count to be a lot smaller. And that also allowed us to stay small as well, because the calls that we're getting, if somebody calls, we want their land because the work was done on the front end. So in that way, Mary could pick up the phone and be with confidence, knowing that if somebody's calling, yes, we are interested and we'll do our best to make the deal happen and really quickly. And so that's how it used to go, is that Mary would do all of the answering of calls from the sellers. And then I would just work with the VAs to make sure that our lists were really targeted. And then that was it. So I would say previously we were probably 3 hours a day. Would you say, Mary? Hers is to count, right? Because hers is more like reactive and responsive to what's coming in. Whereas I can kind of time block and work around my own life schedule.
Yeah, mine would vary depending on how many follow-up calls I was making, or sometimes we would be searching for like an old deal or doing some neighbor calls. So it really depended on what we had going on. But most of the time we've had a project or two going anyway. So then I was dealing just once you get the surveyor going, or once you figure out if there's water, just following up on that kind of stuff is basically what I spent my day doing.
Excellent. And now you mentioned that you aren't doing any more outbound. It's pretty much all inbound. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it's when I wake up in the morning, I guess, that is when I usually have an hour before when I go to school, and I look at my phone or my email, and typically there's somebody in there that says, can you guys take a look at this deal for us? Or would you know somebody who can help with, I need this in this area. And because people know that we're Tennessee, and we've always honored that. Just, we are Tennessee. We are happy to help anybody in Tennessee. And so I think then when people do end up with deals that they're not sure, maybe this is a subdivide or maybe not, then I think hopefully they think, oh, Danielson Sisters, Tennessee, and then they seem nice enough. Let's see if they'll help me for free. And we do. So we really like helping people. And so I think every day I am happy to just take a look and give people feedback. And then every now and then I think, oh, this is a really awesome deal. Or they'll say, oh, will you operate it for us? Or I don't know what to do. Will you just buy it off of me and give me a wholesale fee or something like that? Currently that's working. I don't know if long-term that will work for us. And we're ready. We're ready to call supercharged offers and get on the phone and get back up and
AJ.
yeah, AJ and you guys just get us back up and running. But for right now, I think, we've set up our brand and our messaging and our reputation in a way that people know if they need help and they're in Tennessee that they can call us. So that's how it's going.
Yeah, I love that. That is, I think, the key to the kingdom, by the way. And I want to talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But let's chat about this Tennessee angle, because you've mentioned many times, sounds like you're very proud to be in just the one state. Are you guys operating in any other states, or is it just Tennessee right now? Just Tennessee. So can you talk about what's the benefit to just staying in one state? Because you mentioned how your current business partner actually was all over the place. So talk to us a little bit about why you love sticking into that one state.
We tried a couple. We did Colorado and Wisconsin, and we were doing Tennessee also at the same time. So when we finally did our first couple deals in Tennessee, we found that we were having trouble finding realtors all over Tennessee, or building our team. And so since we have built a team of about 4 realtors that we really enjoy working with, they'll bring us deals and they help us with a lot of the due diligence. So just knowing your realtor, knowing that they will go when they say they will go. And then now I have 4 soil scientists that I really like, and we have 3 surveyors that we really like. And so knowing that you're not searching for somebody new and wondering how it's going to turn out in 3 weeks, are they going? Do they call you back? That was one of the reasons we're like, nope, we're just going to stick with these guys, and we're super loyal to them. And it's just, they're our team.
Yeah.
Knowing how the county works like knowing how to request deeds. It sounds silly, but I now have a list of most of the counties that we work in Tennessee, and I know I have to write a letter and send it in the mail to request the deed. Like things like that. It's just like time saving, and then taxes at the end of the year. I don't know how people go all over the place, but props to them.
Yeah, it sounds like you're able to drill down and just be much more efficient and remove a lot of the friction in your processes, right? Because it's the same thing. It's rinse and repeat the area. Imagine having a complete toolkit for success right at your fingertips. That's exactly what you get with Only Land Fan School, our premium online community. For a low monthly fee, access our treasure trove of resources, the on-market deals course, acquisitions tool suite, and Dispo Secrets library. Plus, connect with fellow flippers in our active community. Whether you're hunting for deals or closing sales, Only Land Fan School has you covered with step-by-step guidance and insider knowledge. Ready to supercharge your land flipping journey? Join Only Land Fan School at olfschool.com today.
Absolutely. And they know when we call too. I don't think they necessarily give us preferential treatment, but maybe we have some bush hog guys too that are like, hey, these are all the counties I'll do. Great, because I know you'll go. I know you go above and beyond. It's just the little things like that you're not like guessing. And then it allows us to, I feel like, try something new. Like we just started putting culverts and driveways in, or now we know the process for that in Tennessee. Now, is it the same somewhere else? Maybe, probably similar, but I don't know. I guess I'm not going to take the time to find out right now.
Hey,
You know,
if it ain't broke, if it ain't broke. That's
right.
fantastic. I love that. I love that. If someone's listening to this and they're like, listen, totally hear all throughout what you're saying about how important it is to build a team. What advice would you give those people that are looking to set up camp in a particular state and build out a quality team to do deals with?
Mm.
I think we started really small and just made sure that every interaction that we had with people, we were honest, following through, meeting deadlines, being gracious, and having a reputation that makes people want to return to working with us. In our like cohort or whatever of people, it was like turning and burning through all of these counties. And then it wasn't really a time where people were even remailing and everyone was jumping all over. And I think for our personality, that isn't really who we are. So we're still married a million years later to our balls and chains, and we're from a town that we grew up in for so long. And so I think we're like good home people. So for us, it just meant that in every interaction, we want someone when they leave to go, I like those girls. I'll work with them again.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. So let me ask, is it all just trial and error who you test out and then you like them and then you decide to do more business with them? Or is there an even more intentional approach to finding specific people that you want to add to your team? How do you guys approach that?
Back when we were building, we would look at who has done a lot of land in that area. So we always looked at just land brokers and agents that had sold and purchased a lot in the area. And then, yes, we did have a lot of trial and error. Wouldn't you say, Mare?
Yeah. And I hit the jackpot with one of our realtors. And then, so of the four, he referred us to another one who we absolutely love. We aren't in that area as much, but we're always looking there, and she's fantastic. So that was a referral from him. And then, gosh, I don't remember. Yeah, I think one of them we ended up calling to go look at a couple properties for us, and he kept bringing us stuff, and we were like trying to make a deal work, and we finally just did one. So that's one of our four with him, and he was just bringing us stuff. So that was actually an on-market deal. I think, yeah, trial and error. And then also, probably if I had to give a tip out, like if you're going to do a subdivide and you're going to use a surveyor, ask them a million questions, because they know literally the brush hog guy, the culvert guy, like who to call at the county, for water or whatever you're looking for, electricity, and they will tell you so much information. Oh yeah, it lays so nice. And we've reached out to people and been like, will you go walk it for us? And they will. Like once you build the relationship with them, they will do the extra stuff for you. And of course, not all of them, but just build that relationship. And that's what makes it fantastic. Seriously, the surveyor will tell you so much information. And if he doesn't, maybe he's not your guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, even on the dispo side, this is a really good tip too, that
Oh, yeah.
when you have people working on your projects, so obviously the surveyor is going to be out there a lot running the boundary, and then he's nearly on the property of all the neighbors. So make sure that he has your contact and he understands what you're doing with the project, so that when those neighbors are curious, then he can say, oh yeah, give him a call, or you want me to let him know, kind of thing. Because our current surveyor, who we really love, just had this happen where there's a neighbor that we thought would be interested, but for some reason we weren't able to get a hold of them on the phone. And of course he pulls over his truck because he's quite curious about what's going on with this land that's been sitting there vacant for all these years. And now there's a lot of activity. And so our surveyor was able to put us in touch, and they do want one tract for themselves to maintain their privacy, and then a couple for their kids to maybe sway them to come and move closer to mom and dad. I think when you do have a team that is working for you, to make sure that you also let them know, hey, if you can bring us a buyer or you pass along our contact, we're also really happy to reward you for that tip. Everybody wins.
Yeah, create win-wins. That's so important. So what does that sort of little incentive look like? What do you reward them with, if you don't mind sharing?
This one just happened a couple of days ago, right?
Yeah.
So we'll have to figure it out. If it's a small win, then maybe that's a steak dinner. But if it's more, then it could easily be cash in this situation. So they're not, I don't think you're allowed to like refer people as a broker, or you can only do this or something if you're a broker. But if it's a brush hog guy and you can
Write the
butter
checkout
up
wrong.
a little bit, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. That's a really fantastic tip. And I want to dive more into the team, because it sounds like that's a huge part of your model and of your success. So if you had to say what makes a really great realtor in a couple of sentences, what would you say?
They just
Hungry.
hungry, provide you with like most of your due diligence. And not that I expect them to, but when
Yeah.
hey, will you check this out? Sure, I'll run over there. And then they'll send me back. Obviously, this is how it lays. And then they'll tell me the taxes and there's water there, or there's internet, or it won't be hard to get internet. Like when they provide me with so much more information than I'm really asking for, it's
Yeah.
great. Responding quickly.
Yeah.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, if you're starting out too and just trying to find your realtor, if they don't call you back pretty much now, keep calling.
Yeah.
Or they're not free.
Yeah. I think definitely if they're hungry and they're communicative and they're resourceful.
Mhm.
So good. Same question. What makes a really great soil scientist?
Again, did you respond? And I know for them, it's a little bit trickier to give you an exact date. We have had it where one went and didn't tell us he was going, because it was like he was like 3.5 months out and he didn't tell us he was going, and we were no longer buying the property.
Oh,
So just communication, again, same thing, like communicating and sending you all the information. Also, soil scientists will be like, "Oh, I think you should cut it like this." And if they're asking you, can I get your surveyor's number so that they can work together eh,
Yeah.
on the front end instead of like during, and I don't know, things like that. Letting you know
yeah.
what needs to be done ahead of time so that you're not like, oh, I can't do your property because you didn't get it cleaned up. Now we know that, but starting out, we didn't. So I don't want to waste their time driving out there, and we also are like waiting for this result, and now it's oh, we got to find somebody to clean it up type of thing. So just communication, and just a good website is fantastic.
Yeah.
There's your
It sounds like there's a theme here, right? If you like, regardless of what niche or what activity they're doing on the team, it's really important that they communicate and that they're responsive and that they're just good team members.
yeah.
Follow through and communication. Absolutely.
Gosh, yeah, we could bottle that up.
Yeah,
I would.
Would be-
be
Oh,
great.
let's work on that. Let's work. I might have some ideas about that. So let's jump over to talking about the types of deals that you're doing. You mentioned subdivides. How much of that development are you doing? Are you guys cutting roads? Are you doing some horizontal development? What does that look like? How deep into the project do you guys go in regard to development?
We do not go horizontal ever. I won't say never, but for now, never. The project that we do have the partners on, they did have a little bit of experience doing some excavation work before on an existing logger road. And so the project that we're on now, it also has an existing road from logging that's also a washed out riverbed, a mess. And so we will put in a gravel drive. We're calling it that instead of a road. It's probably going to be about 1,200 feet long. But we haven't gone into the chip and tar situation or anything really pricey for roads. Actually, there's a project that we were looking at that once we looked at the cost of roads, actually it's maybe happened to us even more times than that, though it was just too cost prohibitive, and there was no longer any margin left in the deal. And so we haven't done anything where you have to add a proper road and no. And I probably don't think that we will do that either. But doing minor roads or like a gravel road depends on the county as well and how many regulations they have. But that is something that we're getting into with this current project with the help of the fellows who've done it before. And also there's a really good line of communication between the guy who's the brush hogger and the excavator. And so they're doing some problem solving right now on that. Yes, on that. Culverts, we really like culverts because they are necessary, and we keep buying properties that have creeks because everybody wants a barn door site with a creek in Tennessee. So a creek equals culvert, and Mary's gotten really good at pricing out the different feed stores and their culvert options, and then figuring out if it's a county that will install the culvert, which saves a massive amount of money, or if you need to do it yourself.
Yeah.
That's great. That's really, really good.
Also offer a wealth of information on people and things to do. So yeah, just make sure that you measure right, because we did make a little bit of an error. We thought that the county would put it in for us and they're not, but and minor. It was a big culvert, but people like that that's already done.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. Can you talk a little bit about what are some of the deal structures that you guys are currently doing in in this market? So are you buying on terms? Are you selling on terms? Is it straight buy using other people's cash? How do you structure all of that? I know it's probably different for every deal, but what are you guys currently doing?
We usually buy all of our deals outright, and we burned up every dollar we had of our own money. And then we also used a B-lock that I have from another rental property, and we burned that right up. And then now that's how we have this 50-50 partnership, because we were broke, and we're still currently broke right now. We're actually, that's not true. We're dirt rich right now.
There you go.
After this meeting too.
Yeah. We also had a couple people reach out that aren't from land who said, can you give me 10% in a year and just tell me what you're doing and teach me and mentor me or coach me along the way. And though we really like those relationships too, because as well, like the people who want to partner that are land to land are going to want 50% of the deal. And that is some high stakes. And so we need to make an effort this year to reach out to some local banks. And actually, I think one of our brokers is probably a really good link for that, just because now he knows us and he's a good old boy from that town with 5 kids who every brother and cousin is in the business there. I do think we need to reach out to banks, and we do need to get some more investors that want reasonable terms. And then we need to operate other people's deals as well, because that it works for us. And I do also feel like it's a win because we can really share a lot with our network and our lessons, but then also benefit financially. If it keeps me from mailing, I'm absolutely willing to.
Anything but mail. Anything. She says anything but mail. I love that. And what about the dispo side? Are you guys selling on terms, or is it just all cash? How are you doing that?
Mostly cash. We do have a couple of financed deals, and we use your land loans, and they are awesome and easy, which is great because it's not really our model, but it does sometimes happen by default. So if a property is sitting for a while, or we just a couple and we can tell that they really want it, we know that it's in our best interest to keep on building up our note portfolio. And so right now the interest, or that's not true, the monthly payments on our notes are paying off all of the interest that we need to pay from the HELOC or BLOC or whatever it is. So yeah, I think we're not against it, but we don't pursue owner finance.
We're happy to do it in my situation. Each one's different, but yeah.
That's great. And it's great that you don't have to either. So what's the typical average size value that you're listing these parcels at? I know that you mentioned you're doing different sizes, but where do you guys start in terms of retail value? Hey there, land fans. If you're enjoying this episode and would like to see more episodes like this, please be sure to let us know by liking and subscribing below.
They're a little bit all over the map. We don't buy anything that has defects or is in a slow market or a really cheap market. So everything that we try to buy is quality, and that way we know that ultimately it's going to appreciate and it's going to have a buyer. And obviously the price per acre varies quite a lot by the different counties. In most of our projects in the past, we've been careful to make sure that when we divide it, there's a nice variety of different acreages, so that we aren't competing against ourselves for our buyers, and everyone can find the slice that fits their dream. But we do have a little bit of a different approach as well now, that yes, we still try to do that, create variety, but if there are a few lots, like 2, 3, 4, 5 of them that are the same and like almost identical, then we market them in a way that says, do you want a family compound? Because if you are going to gift land to your children, it's just like when you empty out your stocking, it better have the same number of peanut butter cups inside. Keep it even, Steven. So we do have that on a couple of our properties right now too, that we're like, okay, if you're buying land for the kids for Christmas, these all perk for 4 bedrooms and they're all about the same size and they all have equal road access. And so we don't know if it works because we're just trying it, but we can let you know.
Yeah, I would love to follow up, but I know I see that's like a more common interest in the mainstream is people are looking to start homesteading, and they want chickens and they want goats and they want a home compound and barn dominiums, things like that. So that's very cool. I love that. I love that. Let's talk a little bit about your buy box. You mentioned that right now you guys are working on a 120 plus acre deal. Do you have parameters for the size? What's your minimum size? Talk to us about that.
Go ahead, Annie.
Mary's got it.
Just kidding.
I mean, ladies, the bigger the better, right? The bigger the better.
Okay. All right. Is that a tagline for the land fam? Bigger the better?
You asked, Kendall. So
I did. And we leave nothing back because it's appropriate here, because the name of the show is Only Land Fans. Come on, you might as well. You might as well.
I would say we don't want to go less than 20 acres. That would be as small as we'd want to go, because most of the counties have an exemption for 5 acres and above in Tennessee. So if you can split it into 4, chances are you can come a little closer to market. Because that's the other thing, is we don't really like to lowball too much. We do like to give the sellers what they're looking for or close to it. Because that we know that with our value adds that we can get it on the other side. So again, like, it is creating a win that makes us feel really good about what we're doing on all ends of the deal. So I think as long as it's 20 acres with a lot of road frontage and decent topo, then we can work with it.
Yeah, cool. Let's talk a little bit about your seller communication, because I am a huge, like, I could talk about customer experience, customer journey all day long. I think that's a really important topic. And so I love that you've mentioned a lot of that about how your customers feel when they interact with you, how your team members feel when they interact with you. So on the acquisition side, what are you seeing in terms of the length of time from that first initial contact, or maybe like when they reach out to you, since you're doing more inbound marketing now, how long are the negotiations before you have something under contract and you're able to move to the next phase?
Kind of tricky to answer just because we did switch from like the letters to whatever's thrown at us. But I don't know, Anne, what would you say? That's a tricky one, Kendall.
It's
Never
never 2 or 3 calls. It's always, let's talk about the one, Mary, right now, that the guy, they don't like him because he's from California. And then they said, will you call him? Okay, that's a good one. So
This
this is,
sounds juicy. I'm ready. I'm
yeah,
ready.
this is like a current drama. So this guy, actually, we were working on an entitlement deal with him that was separate. And then he was working on this deal on his own. And he was surprised that the woman bristled a bit when he said he was from California. And I was just thinking, dude, what don't you get? Like, why did you mention that? But what it is what it, he had already asked us to review it, and we did, just to help him understand the value in the market. And then she just cut him off. And so then he said, would you guys like to re-engage with her? And so now Mary is reaching out to her, and it's like a tricky detective situation because we know that she has a sister who has the adjacent land who also wants to sell, but Mary is like a new introduction to the situation. So she can't come in with all this background information.
I just made like a call. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be a while. It's going to take peeling back the onion. It's going to be, there's going to be a holiday in between. It's not going to go quickly, but I think that is also with the best deals that we've had have been the hardest to get the seller on board. And I would say that started with our very first subdivide, when the owner didn't even have a phone and Mary was literally writing letters. I do think that the personal follow-up can't be rushed. And sometimes for me, because I want to know, are we doing the deal or not? Because if not, I'm going to buy this one because the money, it's all this balancing act. And so sometimes I'll say to Mary, are we going to do it or not? And she'll say, I need time. I'll let you know. She needs either the seller needs time or I need time, back off, and I'll let you know.
Yeah, I would say the follow-up is definitely, there's another guy that once, now that these 4 deals that we have up and running, one of the first ones that I do, I will send him a Christmas card. He asked me to follow up with him. It was the 3rd time he asked me, and he's, I promise next time you call, I'll have an answer for you. So whether it's there or not, I don't know, but I definitely will call him. I enjoy speaking with him. The land is beautiful. We want it. And he's not ready to sell it yet. He wants to, he's just not quite there yet. So it's okay. Yeah, I'll call you in 2 months. And then and just so you know, I do have your card on my refrigerator. And I said, great. Give me a call then. If you decide you want to sell it before the 2 months, let me know. So that's just, none of ours are like super fast. Neither of us have a sales background. I just am like, try to make the relationship. And sometimes I'll just be like, yay or nay, like we're interested, but not that interested. So here's the number.
Yeah, it's like at the bar. You're not going to be the hungry, thirsty lady.
We want hungry realtors, not hungry, thirsty women at the bar, right?
No, we're just dancing with our girlfriends, having a good time. We're not in any rush. We're not going home with you. So just take your time. Maybe I'll talk to you later. I think we do play it cool. And I think also that sellers know we are not we're not going to be pushy. We're not in a race. We're not in a hurry. You know where to find us. We're not going anywhere. So
Cute stationary notes with our name and number and a picture of us. And we have had people for sure call us and be like, hey, remember when we couldn't make it work? Now we can. We finally have the death certificate that we were missing, and they get back to us. And so that part of it too, I think, is important.
Yeah, that's really good. I totally agree. I think that when you present as a motivated buyer, like a lot of leverage goes out the window, right?
Mhm.
There's a difference between saying, I'm really interested in your property, and then I'm hungry and thirsty for your property. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
totally get that. I totally get that.
yeah, and I think we're not texting anybody. We're not dropping voicemails. We're not, none of that. You're going to talk to us. If you're calling, you're talking to Mary. If you're emailing, you're talking to Ann, and they know that it's going to be us. I don't even have my voicemail set up, so it'll never be me. But for emailing, it will always be me. And so I think that's also something that sellers can rely on.
So when you guys are doing follow-up, so let's say in this scenario, beautiful property that you just talked about, follow up in 2 months, he has your contact information. When you do follow up with him, what do you say? What are those follow-up conversations like?
I usually am I've gotten better at putting better notes, like just in Pebble, about who they are, how many kids do they have, where did they go to college, just any personal detail that I can remember to like connect with them again. I try to bring that up, let them know where I'm calling from. We spoke a couple months ago. You told this particular guy, he's fun and flirty. He's old and adorable, but oh yeah, I was wondering when you were going to call. And I was like, I put it down exactly on the 17th, and it's the 17th. And then I just give him time to chat. And then he tells me like, oh, I don't know. I like to invest. And I just let him talk. And
Yeah.
the personal details. And I say, I know you like to invest in the stock market. However, the personal facts, I think, make them more interested in talking to me and giving me more details on I'll put notes in there on, oh, next time I'm going to use this and try this to make the sale.
That's good because it's about that relationship. It's literally not just, hey, do you want to, we talked 2 months ago, do you still don't want to sell? Great. Like next, building that relationship. That's good.
And also respecting their time.
In 2 months, and I am. So like, I'm not going to call you again. Right. Oh no, call me 2 months. Okay, I got it in my notes again. So.
Oh, I like that. So you broke up a little bit. Can you repeat that first part that you said about it was something about that you weren't going to call him back before 2 months?
With this particular guy, I was like, all right, told me to call you back. I called you back. Here we are. And then whatever his excuse or whatever might be for like why he's waiting, or he's waiting to hear from his grandson, or then I'm sure to note that, so that like next time I'll spend some time like, okay, what's going to be my approach to be like, after a while, I'm done calling you, but I'll just say, you told me that, and I've called you 3 times now, and I'm not calling you again. No, call me in 3 months, and I promise I'll have an answer.
That's good. I love it.
On whatever his excuse or their excuse is, or not excuse, why they're not ready, and then try to build on your next approach. Like I said, we are not sales experts by any means.
Yeah,
I've written a lot of emails that say, we're getting out of your hair.
Yeah.
You're not hearing from us. Here's our contact. You know where to find us. And I think that's also, we do not want to bother anyone. Like, people are busy, their lives are full, they've got families, they're trying to make dinner, and they didn't take the clothes out of the washer, and they got to shovel out the drive. Like, we understand what they're going through, and we don't want to hassle people or annoy them. So we're not going to.
Yeah, like a hard no. And in all the other podcasts, it's, but they didn't say no, so keep trying. And we absolutely do. Until this guy tells me to literally buzz off, I will continue to call him, even though I tell him playing hard to get, I'm not going to call you back.
Yeah. It's a dance. It's a dance. It's yeah. That's
fantastic. Wait 3 days this time. Just kidding.
So good. So good. You mentioned brand in your bio. And so I want to talk with you a little bit about that. If someone's just listening to this and they've never heard of you before, tell us in a couple of sentences, what is your brand about? What is your brand?
Our brand is the two of us and we're the same no matter what, right? So if you meet us at our kids' volleyball game or basketball game, we're the same lady that's going to try to buy or sell your land. So I think our brand is really just authentic to who we are as humans. And hopefully that stands for integrity.
That's good.
So boring. We're really boring.
I don't think you're boring. I don't know.
We're playing hard to get. We're
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy that you're boring.
really pretty authentic to us. We are dancing.
You're
Yeah, we're
dancing.
dancing. Okay, we're dancing, but we're going home with our husband.
Anything, please.
So good. I love it. I love it. So, you mentioned that you recently have gotten more into social media and putting your brand out there on social media. Talk to us about what that experience and what that journey has been like, and what results have those yielded for you?
Yeah, that was our goal for 2020, and that's when we started. So until 2023, we hadn't made a post or any, and I think we'd read everything that was like RE Tipster, and we were always like reading in the forums, but we weren't really engaging. And part of that was because we were new. So I think sometimes maybe I would ask a question, but I didn't feel that I could really respond or offer in a way that I felt confident in sharing. And so that in 2023, I think we made the goal to be more engaged in a way that is not just asking questions, but also answering questions or offering feedback or sharing things from our network. And then we just eased our way in. And making sure that every time we did it, it was not just loose lips and just saying things to say it, and making sure that it is actually a valuable contribution. And so we did do that a bit in the Facebook groups. We did do some online Facebook groups, and then I did join a school group, and that group had a lot of new people in it. And so they were super curious. And this particular group was also very respectful and kind, and like a climate that felt very comfortable. I also felt comfortable sharing. And so very quickly, a lot of people started reaching out to us there, I think because our personalities were a good fit. So in some of the communities, it's a whole bunch of 20-year-old boys or 25-year-old boys or 30-year-old boys or whatever. And that's awesome. I'm sure that they're super cute and they can dance better than us, and they have all the tools, but the conversations just aren't as much of a fit for us. So I still do read, and I'm in plenty of Discords. You don't know I'm there, but I'm reading them. And I'm on X and all of that, but it's just sometimes I'm reading, and then I will chime in or ask a question if I feel like it is valid. And yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you had an intentional decision to start being more active, and what brought that about? What made you decide, yeah, I think that we need to start doing that?
I don't really have FOMO in terms of like parties or anything like that, but I did feel left out that everybody is doing these meetups and conferences and things. And so then when Mary and I reached a level that we thought, oh, actually this is our peer group and we want to engage and we want to be there, we can't be physically present. I can't. I can come to the Philippines. It's more fun here. But that was a big part of it, is that we just didn't know anyone and we couldn't really make connections. So the only option that we had was to do so virtually through social media.
Yeah. You have two, I would maybe consider it veins, right? Where in terms of your brand, you've got your reputation as business owners with other land investors. And then you also have a brand that communicates to your customers in terms of your sellers, in terms of your buyers. So can you talk to us a little bit more about your brand as it relates to your land business?
To other investors?
No, to your actual, like your business. So you have a brand where you are helping people and engaging in these groups, but then there's also a brand that you have for your actual land business. So when you are reaching out to sellers, when you're reaching out to buyers, how do you present yourself in that way? And what does that brand look like?
Sure. It's actually not that different because when we're talking to sellers, we're saying like, we hope that you are camping or hunting or hiking or picking berries with the kids out on your land. 1000%. If you're not and you want to sell it, give us a call. I would say that is our messaging is just please enjoy your land. Don't want to bother you. If you are ready to sell, give us a call.
Yeah, that's really good. I like that. I like that. If people are listening to this and they're thinking, gosh, I want for people to just send me deals and I want people, I want to be able to turn off my mail. I want to be able to get these types of referrals. What would you say to them? What are the three biggest takeaways in order to set up where opportunities are attracted to them versus going out and getting those opportunities?
You've got to build a track record for yourself that you aren't just talking. If you are on social media and you're putting yourself out there, make sure that you have plenty of deals under your belt that can really, yeah, exactly. I would say that's a big part of it. So your track record, are you someone that people enjoy, that, you know, that they want to work with? Does your personality suit theirs? And I'm sure ours doesn't suit plenty, but the people who come to us because they like the deals we do, obviously probably that matters more than if they also like us. And then can they depend on us? So making sure that you're really bringing value, and not in a transactional way, just, yes, I want to help you. And then ultimately down the road, that might lead to something else. But I think, again, it's like that thirsty thing. That's not going to be us. Yes, we're happy to help you. And then, but we're not your mom. If you ask too much, like lately, there is somebody that I want to reply and say, I'm not your mom, and go ask your mom. But we do want to help and we want to be your friend and we want to be your partner and all of that. I don't think our messaging is that different on either side. Hopefully.
Yeah, I love that. That's so good. That's so good. I want to thank you for just being sharing and generous with your information and with your knowledge. How can we give back to you right now? What types of resources or connections are you guys currently looking for?
I don't know. We're not asking for anything. Obviously we have put it out there that we're in Tennessee, and if you want help, then give us a ring. And I guess in particular too, if you're a woman and you're trying to get started, we can definitely give you that slant. But also with the guys, like we're happy to just roll with the fellas. And I think it's also important for us to just be clear about our message that we want to help you and who we are, obviously, because we aren't too stupid to play something else. Yeah, we're here. If you like us, then reach out, and that's it.
Yeah.
Awesome. And how can people find you? Where can they find you?
That is a little weird, and it is good for us to always address this. That on Facebook, we're Mary Ann Danielson. So we are Mary Ann Danielson, but again, we just want to deal with one profile. So it works better
down on the notes for our communication day and night.
Yeah, and it works better for us because she is either responding during the day, and then I can go back and read the stream, and then I can pick up with it in my day, which is her night. So it's like a 24-hour clock of this magnificent Mary Ann who's just always awake and doing land.
Love it. Love it. And we'll go ahead and we'll put that profile in the show notes. That way people can find you. Thank you so much. Awesome. Thanks so much. Thank you, Mary and Ann. This has been so much fun. I know that I will be listening to this again to go back and review my notes because there was so much gold. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you everyone for joining us and asking so many fantastic questions, making this a fantastic virtual meetup with so much value. Catch us next week. We'll have another for you. Actually, I think we'll have a couple. So I think we're doing a double header next week. We'd love to join you. Until then, take care, be safe, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye. If you're interested in hearing from other 6- and 7-figure land flippers about how they've built and run their businesses, then check out my group, Only Land Fans, where I do a live interview each week inside the group. You can grab that link at the description below. Until then, be great, have a great week, and catch you in the next one.